This is the Voiceover Gurus podcast, real talk about the voiceover industry, with your hosts, Linda Bruno and JJ Wilson.
Okay, are you recording now, JJ?
Hold your horses, young woman.
I'm very anxious. Let's do this.
1, 2, 7, 9, 44, 8. Yes, I'm good. I'm rolling.
Are that the lottery numbers for next Saturday?
Yes, and for the football game, for the hike thing.
Excellent.
Yes.
Hike thing.
Yes.
Okay. You know,
standing in front of the tight end. Yes.
Oh boy. All right. Welcome back to the Voiceover Gurus podcast. How's it going, JJ?
I'm not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah, hanging in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's really cool today because for a while, I know I reached out to you a while ago, Armin, about coming onto our podcast because Bodalgo, your website, is freaking fantastic and so different from the American platforms. But we want to welcome. I'm gonna mess it up, aren't I? Armin Hierstetter? No, I got it wrong.
Hierstetter.
Please tell me what it is again.
It's Armin.
Armin.
It's Armin from Bodalgo, and for the record, it's Armin Hierstetter. But I know it's a bit difficult. It's a Bavarian name. By the way, hello from Munich, Germany. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Thanks so much for joining. What time is it over there? 5?
Exactly. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
The girls are out.
Oh yeah.
They just went to the choir, and so we have an hour here.
Oh, very nice. Wait, these are your daughters?
Pardon?
The girls are your daughters, or?
Yes, the girls are the daughters, and my wife brings them to the choir. So all the girls are gone, actually.
Okay, you have a little time to.
What kind of a choir?
That one is a church choir. It's not that we are like super Catholics or something like that, but when you look around, you'll find that the church choirs are usually pretty good. Yes. And they have a really good training. So I think the kids love singing, the kids love music. If it's in a church surrounding, well, I don't mind that. So and if it's good for the voice, well, there you go.
My son was a member of the Florida Singing Sons Boy Choir for 9 years, and then went on to go to Westminster. And sang at Carnegie Hall, sang with Andrea Bocelli, their choir. So I'm a choir guy. I love choir music. I mean,
he's a big shot.
If you want to hang out and just listen to choir music one day, I'm in.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, Armin.
I call you up on that.
Okay, cool.
Armin, do you have any kind of musical background singing yourself?
Yes, I've been singing in the choir, as you can hear.
Yeah.
And yes. So I'm pretty much I have sung all my life. And I played in bands. I play the piano, the guitar, bass. I'm not
just say guitar.
It's a guitar.
Guitar. Oh my God! Armin just moved to Tennessee.
oh yeah. What didn't I tell you? No. So I'm not particularly good at pronouncing words in English, and I'm not that good with the instruments. But I can make it sound like kind of nice. Without too much skill, so I think that's kind of a bonus for me. But
Wonderful.
yeah, so I'm doing. Yeah, music has been part of my whole life, I'd say.
Music is awesome.
What is amazing, because I was reading up on you, was that you started off just like us as a voice talent, and you found a need. So why don't you just tell us about how you started? Yeah.
It was in 2004 when a colleague of mine, I used to work in publishing, and a colleague of mine, he was the publishing, not the publishing director, the publisher of FHM magazine. It's a man's magazine, and they needed to redo a commercial, and they needed a new voiceover for the commercial. And he asked me, "Do you know anybody that can do it?" Yeah, and I said, "Well, you are complimenting on my voice all the time. Why don't let's try me? And if it doesn't work out, well, it doesn't cost you anything really." And he said, "Actually, that's a pretty cool idea." He was really in a hurry to get somebody. So we went to the studio. I did the recording, and of course, it took a while. But the director said, well, I can hear that you're not a professionally trained talent, but if you do exactly what I tell you to do, I think this is going to work. And the spot aired. And once the spot aired, I was totally naive. Now, because once it aired, I thought, great, I'm a voiceover talent. So I put the stuff in a mail, the only MP3 that I had. And I think the only thing that I said was, FHM, Männer sind so, which means FHM, men are like this. So, and I thought, yeah, I'm a talent. So I sent my application to various agents, and none of them replied. And I was like, okay, that didn't really work out, did it? So I searched online if there's anything. And I found a website called Voice123. And I thought, it works like that. You have to sign up, then they send you jobs, but it was an American website. So I tried to find out if they had many jobs for German talents, and I found a German talent, contacted him, that was on Voice123, and he said, well, it's an issue with the rates, and there are not so many German jobs there. He's not sure if he redo his subscription. But I was a completely newbie, so I thought, well, this is a great place. I go there. I signed up, found my first clients. The very first client, I think, from New York, Mitra AV. It's a video producing company in New York. They booked me then afterwards for years.
Oh, nice.
But I soon found out about my studio. It was horrible. Well, I had a great mic because I was singing and recording in my home studio, but it was not meant to do a dry sound voiceover. So I could hear the room ambience, the reverberation of the room. Yeah. And then I started building stuff. I went, then I thought, okay, I need to up my game being a voice talent. I went to classes. But always the issue that I had was, okay, it's not many jobs coming through. And I always thought there must be a website in German that does the same thing as Voice123, but just in Germany. And I couldn't find one. And in 2007, I was at the Beer Fest, like Oktoberfest, the world's biggest festival of that kind. I sat there with a few friends. I had a few mugs of beer, and I was moaning, nobody does it. I have to do it again. I stood up from the table, went home, and I started coding the first lines of what later became Bodalgo. And because I could not think of a name at first, there was always like, I had a mock-up of a design, how the website should look like. And on the left top spot was always empty because I hadn't got a name for the website. So I got fed up with that, and I thought, okay, I need to come up with a name, but it must not infringe other copyrights. So I just made up words, and now because I get all the time the question, where does Bodalgo come from, the name? And this is the real story. Usually I tell the people, oh, it's a tribal name for I hear voices or something like that. It's a very weird language. People tend to believe that, but here's the real story. So I made up words and I Googled them to see if there are any matches, any search results, because then I would know, okay, somebody already uses this name. And after like 10, 20 made up words, which all had results, I was kind of about to give up. I thought, who thinks of stuff like that? That was totally crazy. And the first thing that I entered that had no result whatsoever was Bodalgo. And then I thought, okay, Bodalgo, I wrote it down. I made a little mock-up logo. And because of B has a rounding, the O has a rounding, the D has a rounding, the A, everything had a rounding, the G, the O. I thought, actually, that looks kind of nice. And I kept it.
I actually named my cat Bodalgo because of you.
That's not true.
No.
Okay.
It's the beginning of many lines.
Bodalgo, kitty.
That's awesome. So, right.
This is how it started.
That there was a need for the market. Now you've got a big international, roster of talent on there. How many people do you think at this point are members of Bodalgo?
Yeah, I have questions, Armin. I have questions.
Yeah.
One of them is hers.
Yeah. Okay. I come to this question first, and then to your questions. No, at the moment, Bodalgo has around about 12,000 voiceover talents worldwide. compared to other websites, that's a rather small roster. When you look at the big Vs, as I call them, they have they claim to have 200,000 talents.
Sorry.
So they say.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, did you say 200,000?
Yes.
Well, remember,
Times $300, $400?
No. They're not all paying members. Oh my God. No. Only
Okay.
a fraction of them, of course. And the 12,000 talents that are with Bodalgo, only a fraction is premium membership. All the other ones are basic members.
so in comparison to, like you said, the big Vs, it's a smaller.
Yeah. It's a much smaller, because in the very beginning, I thought, okay, I cannot have amateurs signing up, because a big top shelf company comes along, posts a job, and then 90% of the stuff of the auditions you get are from amateurs. Well, that client will never ever return, because they think, well, okay, they can't be serious.
Yeah.
And this is why I did it right from the start, that I vet each and every talent. And this is a difficult task, because first of all, who am I to tell? Let's say somebody studied acting. He went through acting school. He just or she just is not really a great actress or a great actor. So what do you do then? Are you the one to tell them, oh, sorry, you're not good enough? No, you can't do that. Once you're professionally trained, you should have the right, so to speak, to enter the roster. But I do not want to have amateurs in there. So, and then it gets especially difficult when you think about Bodalgo offers 80 talents in 80 languages. Now,
wow,
my Tagalog is not so great. Neither is my Spanish, my French, Italian, Portuguese. I'm able to communicate in English, obviously.
Yes.
But still, it's difficult, because I do not have really the qualification to judge the diction of a voice when it comes to foreign languages, or languages that I do not speak at all.
Right.
But still, there are some things that are always true for every language. And that is like, if the technical quality already lacks, if people start their demos with, or if they have a music bed of like 1 minute before anything happens, or if they use excessive use of reverb, delay, any kind of effect that really has nothing to do or should not be there in the first place, then this is already a good guess, or not so good. But if all the ingredients, the technical ingredients are there, like it's a really nice dry recording, the person starts at you feel the energy from the first syllable, then you already know, okay, we're going in the right direction here. Oh. And then you look at the clients list and at the education that you have to type in your profile, and then you get a pretty good feeling: is this an amateur or is it a professional? So this helps a lot. Not all the time. I make mistakes too, and I have rejected people that have been studying acting or have been voiceover talents for years and years. Along comes the stupid little German guy with the glasses and says, "No, members only today." But then people that are really serious about entering or that want to join Bodalgo, usually what they do is they drop me a line, said, it seems my profile has been rejected, which I don't understand because of yada, yada, yada. Then I revisit the whole thing, and my mistake is then rectified. Do you say rectified? Can I rectify a mistake?
Yes, but not in a doctor's office.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see where this is going. I try to keep it up, though.
Please continue to try to keep it up.
Yes. Okay.
Armin, what do you think the percentage is of people that do not have the qualifications that do apply to, be a part of Bodalgo? Is there a high amount of people that are amateurs that apply, or?
In the beginning, it was much, much more. I think it became less and less because of a few things. First of all, Bodalgo
because of us is one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Yeah. Well,
teaching them the right way to do it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
My answer is now yes.
Well, thank you, Armin, for being with us today. And
it was a pleasure to. Thank you so much for having me. I think Bodalgo grew a reputation, no amateurs. and I think that helped. And what also helped is a big fat yellow, no, sorry, it's orange actually. It's orange background, white writing on it. As soon as you want to sign up with Bodalgo and you click, I want to sign up as a voice talent, a big sign comes, a warning box, and it says, unless you are professionally trained, do not sign up because your profile will be deleted without any further explanation.
That's great.
And that helped too. Yeah, well, I just thought it's wasted time to go through endless profiles, and I'm not doing them a favor, obviously, and they're not doing me a favor really by signing up.
Thank you for doing that. Thank you.
Well, it's
all the big platforms did that.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a different approach. Well, I would they would never ever be able, like if I say, okay, the amateurs can come along as well. Well, they would never ever be allowed to go premium, because then I could not take money from them, because I would know I damage my own business, and I damage their bottom line, because it's not leading anywhere. Sometimes, in very rare cases, there is then I engage discussion with somebody that comes back and says, yes, it's true, I'm still an amateur, but I'm learning at the moment, and would you help me, like, listen to my demos, what should I improve, or something like that? And then I point the people to the right direction and said, well, and once you're done, once your coach says you can swim with the sharks, then you just re-register and everything is hunky-dory and Bob's your uncle. So
thank you for doing that.
You have a great, there's also, when you go to sign up too, there's kind of another warning that says, make sure that this is going to be right for you before you sign up.
Oh yeah, that is in the process. Like, you are a basic member, but you're not a premium member.
And when basic is free?
Basic is totally free, yes.
Okay.
And
I'm a basic member right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basic member means you have full database. You appear in the database. You can do basically everything is exactly the same, and you see the jobs. You just can't audition for them. But by doing so, and this is why there's like this second warning sign. If somebody is in the process of upgrading, it says, before you upgrade, make sure that you got familiar with Bodalgo, and that you see the quantity and the quality of the jobs. And once you think you have a good feeling about what's coming in and how many and how the budget is, and if you then think you should give it a try, then you give it a try. Don't sign up prematurely, so to speak. Don't upgrade prematurely, so to speak. And I do that not only because I want to avoid disappointment. It's also for my own sake, because it happened too many times that people jumped on, they got approved, they immediately went for, let's say, a year premium. You could also do a month and half a year, but some people are so enthusiastic. I think, I had so many good things about Bodalgo. They jump on the train, and then it's like they speak, let's say, Swedish. And there are not many jobs for Swedish people there. It's hardly any. Right. And if this person would have first waited and got more familiar, and are there jobs coming through, then this disappointment would have not happened in the first place. So this is why that thing is there, basically.
That's great.
And it's only fair, and it's only fair to say, well, yeah.
Yeah. No,
I think from a client perspective, sorry, Linda, if they go to your site and it's filled with people that they listen to, and they're all, they're going to go, well, that was a waste of time.
Oh, absolutely.
Just like it's learning something from YouTube. I do a lot of woodworking, and I'd watch this 25-minute video of this guy making a chair. And by the time he got done with it, I went, I just wasted 25 minutes of my time. I'm not going back to that site anymore, because they obviously don't know what they're doing.
Yes.
So good for you in that respect too. That makes you a better guy, and will get you more respect in the world of voiceovers as well.
Of course, I would hope for that. That's the way why I do the things the way I do the things.
Right.
What you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be honest with what's the reality out there, because the reality, unfortunately, teaches us that not all clients either care too much or haven't got the experience to judge a bad voiceover from a good or professional voiceover.
Exactly.
Fiverr is out there. That is a fact. Yeah, and they have I don't know how many magnitudes more jobs than Bodalgo in the voiceover area, and people still come to the conclusion that they made that they made a good buy there. So and I wouldn't say, probably there must be talents on Fiverr that are really, really good. I wouldn't.
They are. They've taken. It takes a year to get to the point where you're not making $5 or $10 per read, though. You have to have, I think, 1,000 reads.
Something crazy.
And I know some of our students have been, well, I've got to go record 7 18-minute videos. And I said, wow, how much you getting? I'm getting 1,000. I said, for all of them or one? And he said, all of them. And I said, good luck with it. And it was like 103 or something. It was insane.
Yeah.
8-minute videos for $10.
Yeah, no, it's that's insane. And but what can you say? Because it's a, what do you call a sword with like a two-edged?
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is what the term. Yeah,
I have that embroidered on my pillow.
Okay, yeah, great. I should really spice up my English game. Anyway. So it's a two-edged sword. Was it? What was
double-edged sword?
A double-edged sword. See, a stupid German guy. So, because I'm a big fan of free markets, open markets. I think that an unregulated market is the preferable choice to a regulated market. That is my personal belief when it comes to financial and policy. So, on the one hand, you should say, well, it's. If the talent asks for $10, well, that's the talent's issue. But there is, of course, a problem with that. We educate, and platforms like Fiverr, and I would also say Voice123 is one of them, and Voices.com is one of them, educates or promotes mediocre work and worse. And this changes the perception of clients. Yes. What an acceptable work sounds like.
Exactly.
When you hear trash or 80% trash in the auditions, well, you must come to the conclusion that this kind of average, well, 80% is not average, but I think you know where I'm heading at.
We do.
So this is what to expect. Of course, people that are really great then really pop out of like they pop out from the masses. But who knows if the audition is listened to, and then, of course, it's much more expensive than what the client perceives seems to be the accepted average job quality.
Exactly.
And this
it's changing the market. It's changing the market for all of us.
This is, in my book, this is the most. It's the biggest negative impact that it has if you allow amateurs to jump in.
Right.
And then on the other end, what I completely don't get is like, if your car breaks down, well, you wouldn't probably let me fix it just because I got a screwdriver. You go to somebody that really knows to do. Okay, to stay with this example, if I F up the work on your car, you'd probably be dead because your brakes don't work anymore. So the consequences are much higher. But then, wait a second, if a big company goes for the wrong type of voiceover, well, maybe they're not dying, but they maybe wasted a 6-7 figure media budget on a commercial that was done so badly that it just doesn't do what it should do. So
it's the old adage: you get what you pay for.
Oh yeah, and everybody that says, oh yeah, grandfather is talking about the war. No, it's true. It's still true. You get what you pay for, and it's just that the amount of people coming into the voiceover market, or have been coming over the last years, grew so much because it's really good microphones are very affordable. Yes. And I'm not talking like $30-$40 microphones, but you can find something in the $300 range plus that is really, 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 really good.
Yep.
So you can get preamps, you can get audio interfaces, even the digital ones. So it's very accessible. It's not rocket science to build you a nice booth. You don't have to pay thousands and thousands. You could do that if you have the space in your flat, or you convert a corner of the room into a really good booth.
And it's a tough place to find a place for the liquid oxygen for the rockets anyway in your studio.
Yes, exactly. That's what I always tell.
Just so hard to store.
Yes, and
if I may, on your point, Linda and I come from a different era. You know, when we were doing voiceovers when we first started out, there was 12 of us doing all the work in all of Florida.
Yeah.
And, you know, we didn't audition. We wore beepers and they'd go off and we'd go down and make stupid money.
Yeah.
And through the union, we were, you know, both union.
Yeah, bad news for you, because those golden times are over.
Yes, they are. And that's my point. You know, I had just come back from doing a session. I had a huge account in Miami. This was 30 years ago. And I had just made like $6,000 in an hour doing car commercials. And I was president of AFTRA at that time.
Yeah.
And we had a meeting that day and I sat there and, you know, some of the people on the board were not working. They just wanted to be able to say that I'm on the board of AFTRA. And they all started to talk about a strike.
Yes.
And I went, you're kidding, right? I just made, you want more money than I just made for doing a car spot. And by God, they did it. And I lost everything. And at the end of the year that they were on strike, they said, well, we did it. We got you $16 more per spot. And I looked at them and I said, do you have any idea how much money I lost by this? But what between the union and what you were talking about before was, you know, there's no, I forget how you put it, but a lot of the union members who do voiceovers are now financial core because they're not keeping up with Fiverr. They're not meeting them somewhere in the middle for a reasonable rate. Nobody's going to pay $900 with pension welfare and the handling fee and the paymaster fee for an hour session to do a category 1 industrial. They're just not.
Right.
Yeah, I think that the issue with, and my insight in SAG-AFTRA in unions in general, in the US unions or in the UK unions, is very, very limited. What I had always the biggest challenge with was, I think people tried to explain to me how a paymaster works, like how to convert non-union work into union work, was explained to me, I think 3-4 times they tried, and then they gave up because obviously my mental capability.
No, it's not because of you. It's very difficult. And now the union keeps changing the rules on that. Well, you're going to need a note from the client. And I'm going, I don't want to bother my client with that, you know. Then he's going to be scared off because he thinks he's going to have to pay residuals. Oh, well, he's not. And I said, yeah, well, then you call him.
Right.
And it gets too sticky, you know.
I thought it was a very, very complicated process. And I thought if not only that, and it was maybe communicated not in a really clever way.
I agree.
And I thought if the union would finally wake up and make a system where they would make it a little bit more transparent, easier to understand.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people would love to turn their non-union work into union work. They don't have an issue with that. I think they just fear that it's so complicated they can't be bothered. And who can blame them? I would do exactly the same thing.
They have everything they need with all the big stars, all the news anchors, all the radio guys. That's all they need. We're not very important. You know, we're low on the totem pole because the big actors are putting all the big money through it, you know, $20 million for a movie and fine. But for us little folks, us middle America voiceover talent who are sitting at home, I kept saying, things have changed. You got people doing these things for $5.
Yeah.
They're not going to pay $800 to go through the union. Why don't you come down to $350?
Yeah.
You know, because that's a fair price. But anyway, I got off on a I digress.
Granny's rant is over now.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So I want to join you again, Armin.
Yes.
I want to join
you
you again.
You want to join me for a beer, I believe that is.
Yes, and your website. And your
okay.
website.
Oh, okay.
I would like to give it another try.
Yes.
That was in the, I believe I joined right after you first started.
Well, I started in 2008. It went live. And I think the English version of the website was mid 2008, maybe the last quarter.
Wow.
I think I was 2009, maybe 2010.
Yeah.
So I would like to give it another try, and because you sound like a fair man.
I'm on the website as a free member, and I've been on it for a long time. And coincidentally enough, a client reached out to me last week.
Really?
And
so directly to you via your profile.
Yeah, she emailed me and
Sorry,
said,
Armin.
This
I
Italian radio station needs some liners done or whatever. So I sent her my.
Hey, you're listening to 92.44.
Not a New York Italian.
FM.
We're talking real Italian.
Oh.
But I thought that was cool. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not even a paying member, but they were still,
because that happens absolutely, probably every day. I don't monitor that. It's because you have database visibility, so everybody can see you and find you in the database. So, and on your profiles page, there is a little form where they can write direct messages to you. Well, they're sent via Bodalgo, but they end up in your mailbox. And it happens every day. Of course, the majority of the jobs comes in via casting, but that's
for American unusual. Voices with the international market. How much of a need is there, do you think?
For American voices, for the clients that Bodalgo caters?
Yeah, what do you think the need is?
English jobs are just on the brink to be the most posted jobs, and then comes German. German was obviously always very high, but and it's three versions of English that I asked for: U.S. English, English from Great Britain, and English neutral. And now I see the question marks in your eyes.
What's English neutral?
What is English neutral?
It's when you're in a standard shift car talking English and it's in neutral.
Yes.
See,
that would be
come on.
Wrong explanation.
Sorry.
So,
here's a copy of our home game.
I used to call it Mid-Atlantic. Mid-Atlantic is something you can't learn. It was taught in the 40s, 50s acting classes, and it's an accent that is neither too British nor too American. It's somewhere in the middle. That's probably why it's called Mid-Atlantic, and it's the absence kind of a too broad accent of either side. So this is the theoretical stuff. Now forget all what I said. The important thing is a client that wants neutral English wants a native English-speaking voiceover talent that will not alienate any of the global client base this client wants to attract. So if it's an Australian brand that delivers worldwide and the product is known worldwide, and they go for a new, I don't know, online campaign, and let's say they don't do an Aussie guy, a UK guy, and a US guy, they just want this one voice. Then they choose a voice that is neither to Aussie, neither to UK, neither to American. They look for something that everybody will kind of say, I can't really tell where this guy, it's native English, definitely, but I can't really tell where this guy is from.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So that's the whole story. I would say 70% of the jobs posted with Bodalgo are called English neutral. And everybody that is with Bodalgo and is a native speaking English voiceover talent from either US or UK, Australia, South Africa, they get like also the castings for English neutral. If you are from India and you speak English India, there is this accent, you're not getting that, because unless you specifically add English US or English UK as another mother tongue.
Right. This is an extended car warranty.
Yes, you could do that as well. that would work. Would work too. Yes.
On Bodalgo right now, what do you think is the most requested voice genre that clients are looking for? Like, is it corporate
Millennial?
narration? Is it? I'm not about
Oh, yeah,
style.
no,
You're
I'm
talking
about
about, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no, still, all those online corporate clips are still the big winner. It has been there for years, and I don't see it. It's going somewhere else. Like, yes. So it's corporate narration, and everything under that hood is, I think, by far
the biggest. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's what we have here too. It's a huge
yeah because it's a huge thing, and of course it's the budgets you or the talent fee compared to commercials is of course much lower, because they're not used as commercials usually they just put it on their website or their social media thing or on their YouTube channel, so the budgets are of course lower, and which is good, a good thing, because then they can make more of that, they can produce more of this content. So that's a good thing.
We get a lot of students, I know I do here on the studio, that are like, I want to do video games. And that's like what draws them to voiceover. Yeah. And I'm like, I hate to break it to you, but if you want to make money in this business, it's the stuff that isn't so glamorous.
Right.
It's the, straight up corporate narration,
absolutely.
learning.
And there's with animation, I know the market is huge. I know it's huge. Video games and all of that is connected there. Hardly any folks that are looking for video game characters on Bodalgo. I don't know exactly why this is. I think the production companies that are the usual suspects to have those roles, they already have their network. They know where to search those, or they go to the talents directly that they have been working with. So I don't see many jobs coming there. On the other hand, you also have to say that, as you just indicated, the pay for those for video games is rather ridiculous. If you ask me, you make much more money by being the boring e-learning type of guy.
Right.
So but of course, but then again, it's much more fun to do animation than e-learning.
Yes.
Especially when it's about cars and parts for cars. And I lost it.
Yes.
So yes. So and it's, by the way, it's the same with audiobooks. Audiobooks are not very well paid.
No way.
And, or dubbing movies. Dubbing movies is awfully paid. Awfully. But then again, if you're if you are the dubbing voice, well, you know what I mean by dubbing, yes?
Yeah.
That's how I started.
Very good.
Yes.
Yes. And if of course, if you happen to get a major role of a really successful movie, then you make, of course, the money everybody wants to have in commercials, the voice from that character in that movie. Right. And this is where you then do ka-ching. But how many, we are talking a single percent digit of all people. So
right.
My first dubbing job was for a movie called Pago Pago. And it was about two Mexican guys who rode a mule facing each other with cafeteria trays taped around their neck. And they would ride through the desert and eat. When they got done eating, they would get off and fight. Then they got back on the mule and kept riding.
Yes,
that was my first dubbing job. And then 4 or 5 weeks in, I brought
Linda.
mom
Can you take his drugs away? I told you once.
that seriously
It's really not working with him.
No,
I swear.
This is legit, JJ.
It's legit. The 4 or 5 weeks later, I brought my mom in to watch, and I didn't know what we were dubbing that day, but it turned out to be a soft porn movie. So my mother is standing outside the window. I'm 22 years old going, oh. And then I look over at my mother, I'm sorry. It was just awful. But
you know, they say that there's things that can't be unseen. I think I now know what it means. Like, you can't unhear.
Yeah.
And with a little bit more fantasy, unsee, but let's not go there.
Right. So people can join on, I mean, obviously they have to be vetted and they have to be professional, but you offer monthly memberships. Is it like a cancel anytime thing, or is there a commitment with the monthlies, or?
No, it's like every of those 3 plans are subscriptions. So it's the monthly thing would be a monthly subscription, but you can write a mail at any time.
Get to any time.
And then you just quit. Well, of course, it ends after the period you have paid for, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, if somebody says Armin, and I get this a few times a year, Armin, I just saw it renewed for another year, but to be honest with you, it's not working with me, for me like the way I thought. Can you give me a refund? And I said, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
If people approach me and ask nice, then, or just ask, then of course that will be done. But there are some people, you always have it from one spectrum to the other. There's a spectrum of people, and they are like furious and using foul language. It's then where I say, okay, I probably refrain from my right to give a refund here. It happens too. I should not do that. I know I should be a better man. Sometimes, I'm still trying to do. 52, still working on it.
I think you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. I love your philosophy, and I love your business approach with the website.
I can't believe you're not getting me any work, even though I suck, Armin. I'm going to get upset about that.
I'm sorry, I lost you by when you said suck, because I still have the soft porn movie in my head.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, baby, what are you? Some kind of a nut?
Well, thank you, Armin, for joining us. It was a pleasure learning about Bodalgo. And
I actually do remember speaking to Armin 10 years ago.
Really?
And you were very kind to me then. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you were just starting out.
Now.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I should say, oh yes, of course, JJ. I remember like it was yesterday.
Of course.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Okay, you survived the 80s too then.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll have to talk about that another time on a different show. It's been a pleasure
to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being one of the honest ones and one of the fair ones, and trying to keep this business alive. And I want to make one point, that the one thing I think that has changed the most is that we don't get the opportunity to have ongoing clients, because there are so many people doing this. They have so many opportunities that they can pick.
But I have to jump in on that one. If you mean ongoing clients, like repeating clients, like the clients that come back.
I have lots of repeat clients.
Okay. Yeah. I have to jump in there, because it's very, very important. With Bodalgo, you own the client, and you like they have direct contact to you. There's no man in the middle. So and I always have said with Bodalgo is it's your duty as a voiceover talent. Every client you get through Bodalgo, you have to turn him into a returning client yourself. That's your duty,
I understand.
Responsibility,
yes.
And it can't be overestimated how important that is to turn clients into.
You have to wine and dine them.
Oh, yeah.
With the amount of choices there are out these days, they're going to go, you know what? I want somebody 20 years younger for this next one.
Okay, yeah. And
that's what I meant.
Of course, you completely.
And they have 5 million choices to go to. But back in the day, they'd go, well, JJ can raise his voice a little bit and get away with it, so I'll just use it.
But then again, even if they go to somebody else instead of you, which I can't believe happens.
It's just beyond me.
But in the
my mother says the same thing.
but then there's a new talent, and if this talent needs to do her best to please the client. Oh God, we're back to the soft porn, I feel. To please the client as good as she or he can possibly do. So the client, by the next time, and they have a similar project, they might just say, "Hey, JJ, this guy, wasn't he great? Come, let's before we post the casting, takes ages here. Let's." Right. This is how you make your client.
It's like I get even though I'm not a member of Fiverr, I get work from them. Because the people who do the voiceovers are sometimes not very good. And the client calls me and goes, I just used a guy from Fiverr and he was terrible. And I went, okay. It's 300 from me. So I'm getting work from them indirectly, which is great.
There you go.
I don't know. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure the
girls very welcome.
Girls
Thanks so much
back from choir soon, right?
Oh yeah, in minutes.
Perfect.
Excellent. Head over to Bodalgo if you. Pretty much everybody's heard of Bodalgo, but some of
Yes.
our listeners have not because they're literally not in the business yet, but they're thinking about it, so they listen to our podcast.
Right.
But yeah, JJ and I are very particular, as people know, about who we
Where
bring
we
on
send.
the podcast too,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
we like
yeah.
transparency, people that are, honest and open and like-minded. So we really appreciate you for that. And
Yes.
thank you for sharing your experiences and everything about the website too.
I was emailing a student last night. He was asking me about your company, and I said, well, it just so happens that I'm going to talk with him tomorrow, and I will recommend him as well.
Yeah,
So
it's
we'll
great.
send some people your way.
All right. So that wraps up this episode of the Voiceover
He's nodding no.
podcast. We do have some workouts in July, just a few.
I don't work out, Linda.
The
I'm just
summer can
no.
be slow.
Oh, voiceover workout.
Yeah.
Okay, that I'll do.
All
That I'll
right.
do. I just
All right. Everyone have a good rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to Voiceover Gurus.
Thanks for listening to the Voiceover Gurus podcast. Real talk about the voiceover industry. Learn more about us and get coaching at voiceover.guru.